Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, I got a bit of a sore throat this morning, so I hope you'll bear with me as I got the sniffles returning from 2 weeks in the Caribbean to Canada weather. And it's been snowing and cold every single day, and I've got that return to Canada cold going on right now. But I do have some cruise news stories out there today that I really think we need to cover. An unfortunate story of another passenger overboard at the end of the season this year. We also have a travel warning out there for one of the most popular Mediterranean ports out there, and a continued outbreak on one of the most historic cruise ships there is. It's back-to-back cruises now, and the numbers keep climbing. So our first story involves Norwegian Epic, as it was sailing and a passenger went overboard. A 51-year-old male passenger has gone missing. The cruise ship immediately sent a flare into the water when the man overboard was sounded, so they know the location of the rough area where he went overboard. Immediately started to stop the ship and turn around and send out rescue boats. Passengers were notified, and many of them went to their balconies and were looking out and trying to see if they could spot the person. It was reported that he was wearing a blue shirt. Not very convenient considering it's blue water on a blue shirt, and it was also closing in on only a couple hours of daylight left while they were searching. And there was another nearby ship. The Holland America Zutterdam was nearby, and it joined the search as well. Unfortunately, despite all those efforts and everything that was there, the man has not been found, and the ships were then released as the Bahama rescue team continues its search. But as we all know, the longer things go on, the less likely a good outcome is going to happen from this. Now, the passenger was on board with friends, family, and a large group, where they're not saying what kind of large group. It could have been like a travel agent group, it could have been a church group, it could have been a YouTube group, for all we know. But the passenger was part of that. They are offering services on board to the friends and family and anyone who requests, counseling or anything during this troubled time. But again, it's a rough time of year for a lot of people, and especially when this kind of stuff happens. So condolences to everybody on board, the crew members, the family, the friends, and everybody involved in this situation. It's never good, and it's especially not good this time of year when everybody is trying to celebrate and just come together as a family, and something like this unfortunately happens. Speaking of unfortunately happening, we also have the Queen Mary II, the historic Queen Mary II, beautiful ship and everything, but she's undergoing some problems right now. She's had a gastronomical illness on her last cruise, and now the next cruise, back to back, there's another outbreak on board. Now, the first one had a total of around 103, 107 passengers. Now that total is up to 265 passengers in total, and it doesn't seem to be going down right now. It's back-to-back cruises, so if you're on the Queen Mary II, I'm sorry if you're going through this, if you caught gastronomical illness or norovirus, whatever it is, and if you're on the Queen Mary II next, you might want to keep an eye out and make extra cleaning of your hands and things like that, because it's hard to get rid of once it keeps spreading like that. It just seems to continue for now for multiple sailings. Look at what happened with P&O when they had 4 different sailings with over 100 passengers on each on the same ship. And that just seems to be what's going on right now in a lot of situations. Next, we also have one of the most popular ports in the Mediterranean has now had an upgrade to their travel warning by the U.S. State Department. But before I get there, let me just invite you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. You want to keep up to date with everything going on in cruising, from the unfortunate incidences to the really good incidences of great shore excursions and great new ships coming online and fun excursions to do. or unfortunately the bad excursions that can happen as well, and the warnings and the scams, etc. There's all kinds of things that we need to be aware of when you're going on your cruise. I hope to keep you as best informed I can and maybe even entertain you along the way. Why not join the channel and keep up to date? It doesn't cost a thing, but boy, it really helps the channel out when you hit subscribe. And YouTube just goes, hey, people like cruising videos, let's share it to more people. And that's how the channel grows. And again, I really do appreciate it. Okay, so what kind of travel warning and where? Well, one of the most popular destinations, of course, is Spain, especially Barcelona. It's not only a home port for many cruise lines, it's a dropping off and a picking up point, it's a mainstay. It is one of the biggest ports in the Mediterranean for cruise ships. And in Spain, they have now issued a level 2 warning. Now, they're not telling you to reconsider travel or do not travel. They're telling you to, take extra precaution there. And we've reported on this channel many times in the past lately of those protests that are going on, anti-tourism protests that are going, especially in Barcelona right now. Remember the water gun incidences when people were just having coffee in the coffee shops and these big crowds would come by and start squirting water guns at all the tourists in there, saying, go home, we don't want you here, go home. It's funny how they all want you to go home until the money doesn't come in, and then they want you to come back. But, that's a different situation altogether. But the U.S. State Department has now increased it from a level 1 to a level 2 because of more incidences that have been happening, and the warning goes like, exercise increased caution in Spain due to terrorism and civil unrest. The travel advisory says terrorist groups continue plotting possible attacks in Spain. Terrorists may attack with little or no warning, targeting tourist location, transportation hubs, markets, shopping malls, local government facilities, clubs, restaurants, hotels, places of worship, parks, sporting events, cultural events, educational institutions, airports, cruise ports, and other public areas. So yeah, that's an increase there, not just in the civil unrest, but actual terrorism going on in Spain as well. Now they're saying, it doesn't mean don't go, it just means take those extra precautions, such as beware of your surrounding when you're traveling to tourist destinations and in crowded public venues. Always follow the instructions of local authorities. If police tell you to go this way or get away, you follow that. Avoid any demonstration or crowds. If you see a crowd protesting coming towards you, don't take out your phone and start recording it. Get the heck out of there, because that's when the trouble starts. And also monitor the local media for breaking events, like a bomb just went off, or there's a shooting somewhere, or a protest is heading at the airport, or something along those lines, and adjust your schedule accordingly. So that's pretty good advice anywhere you go, to always be aware of your surroundings and keep an eye on the local news as anything might be happening in your city. I mean, it could happen, you come to Ottawa, there could be a protest in Ottawa that is, blocking traffic and you can't get to where you want to go. All kinds of things can happen, but right now they've increased Barcelona and Spain as a whole up to a level 2. And that's, again, one of the most popular ports in the Mediterranean. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think, will that change your travel plans at all? Like going to Spain, going to the Mediterranean? Are you rethinking the Mediterranean with all the protests that have been happening and now terrorism attacks? It just seems like, some places are just getting a little dangerous to travel to, even though they're beautiful, beautiful locations. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.